because the kids that drive like F1000 huge ass trucks, and they're like, "Hey, check out my new suspension kit. My daddy bought it with his oil money."
Oh, what's up guys, this is Ramen, and this is Learning the Meta-phorical Ropes. Alright, so, I'm not actually playing a game here, I'm playing a custom. I have Red Panda in here. He's kind of here as just filler, just because I just told him to be here while he's waiting on me to play a game. I'm on my new favorite, well, not my new favorite champion, but one of my favorite champions as of right now, Leona. She is a freaking beast. Like, oh my gosh. Anyways, but that's beside the point right now. So, I'm gonna show today. I'm changing the way that learning the metaphorical ropes is gonna be working. The way that I'm gonna have it work now is that instead of it just being games of me playing, I'm gonna be having it more along the lines of me playing. Not playing, but me teaching a little bit more. I know I don't have an insane amount of experience like there's a lot of people that do, and I know that some people will be like, well, why are we going to listen to him? There's no reason to. I'm here, I'm learning as well, but I'm teaching what I'm learning as I learn it. And there's been a lot of things I want to learn. Been learning, and a lot of things I've been noticing that I don't know about for sure about ranked, but I know for normal modes, nobody ever does. So it's either things that nobody ever does or things that people do absolutely wrong. That's because you have to target. For instance, okay, just a second. Let me come out there to where you are. Come to mid lane.
Chosen of the sun.
Or yeah, well, no, go to your red buff. Have you gotten your red buff yet? Okay, go to your red buff.
Ever vigilant.
Okay, so what you're gonna do is come over here.
You.
Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're going to just a second. Okay, so go into spider form. Now, whenever you repel, target her instead of the ground. Target the lizard elder instead of the ground. So, whenever your repel's up, okay. See, there you go. That's what you have to do. The reason that you're gonna that you would ever go ahead and target the
Rally to me.
the reason that you would ever target the ground, because you can target the ground and go straight up, is because you can target the ground, go straight up, and then Zonia's while you're in the air. Yeah, it really is. But again, they could just sit there and wait for you to come back down. So it's a win-loss. Anyways, back to this. I have quite a few things that I've noticed, and I'm gonna be doing. Each one I'm going to try and do 3 segments on, and it's going to be one each week. One segment, 3 segments each week on the days that I'm not putting out what champ to play. So today's segment is early game warding. I know, as you can see, it's not early game here anymore because it's freaking 8 minutes in. A lot of things can happen within 8 minutes. But pretty much your early game warding spots are as follows. For top lane, the spots that I find most important are going to be, because you're alone, you're solo. Most of the time you're going to be solo top laning, especially in ranked and stuff, because they're going to have the jungler. Is going to be, first of all, right here, because from right here you see into the Baron pit, and then you can also, instead of putting it in this bush right here, you can put it here, and you can see if they're coming from down here. You can see them coming up to here. This is actually a friend that told me about this that I hadn't actually thought of previously. Really early game, the Baron thing is not a big deal, but putting it right here, you can see a little bit better, because if they come up through the where your blue buff is, then you can see them. Um, Really, top lane. This if you're coming top lane from purple side, this is going to be the same place you're going to want, because if their jungler is coming from their blue, then you're going to be able to see it and see them coming through right here. Now the other place is if you're low health, this is going to be very, very important place, which is going to be right here in this tri-bush right here. This is not a normally done place, but I find it important because
The sun always
if you're
rises.
low health, you're pushed back to tower, you're right here on tower, at least literally just has to come a little bit out of the bush right here, and she can pounce on you right
Ever
then.
vigilant.
Um, so having a ward right here is gonna stop a lot of pain from you. For instance, a LeBlanc. A LeBlanc could destroy you if you don't have a ward right there and you're really low health.
Rally to me.
The last one is going to be right here. Having a ward in this tri-bush is, of course, gonna make it so that if they're coming from their red buff, you can see them. If they're coming from their golems, you'll be
I
able to
must
see
not
them.
fall.
If they're coming over here to come in this bush, you can see them. But like that right there. If like we saw him coming from over there because of that ward right there, because having that ward allowed us to see him here. If he was coming from over here, this tri-bush ward would help
Chosen of
us.
the sun.
If he was coming from the back way, that ward would help us. This way, you're pretty much, you have almost a full degree of being able to see all the way around your lane. So it's almost impossible to get ganked. Of course, you still have times whenever things like Teemo
blood
and things like
approaches.
that can invis and such. But having those wards there, they're not going to expect it as much. So having those wards there, where exactly those places, and kind of trying to keep them up, especially this ward right here and this ward right here, because they're not going to expect this ward right here. They'll probably expect this one. This one will be killed quite a few times if they're intelligent. That's a really weird dance. What? Oh, what the heck? What the heck? What the heck? Having this ward here, they're not going to expect it. They're not going to look for it very often. So having that ward there is going to make it so overall you're going to have a 10 times better game. You're going to be able to be like, okay, boom. I see their jungler coming. I know that I can't take their jungler and whatever right now. Or you can
I
alert
must
your
not
jungler.
fall.
Now we're going to go to mid lane. Mid lane is really pretty easy. There's not a whole lot towards mid lane. Mid lane, you still have 3 spots. And these 3 spots are going to be more likely to help you in the long run.
First light approaches.
Now, the 3 spots, of course, you're going to want a ward there and a ward there. Those are going to be your 2 main wards that you're going to want to keep up at almost pretty much all times. That way, that no matter
always
what,
rises.
if you're pushed right here, and I'm not attacking you, if you're pushed right here, then it's going to make it so that you see them in time enough that you can run back and you're fine. The 2 optional places that I have put on mine,
Stay at
are-
the vanguard.
actually it's really 3 optionals. I say right here, I say the big ones.
I will
If your
protect you.
top laner has one right here, it's not as big of a deal to have it right here, because I don't think it's going to be as needed, and that bush is going to get the ward killed in it quite often.
Chosen of the sun.
You can put a ward here, and it makes it so that, okay, well, I have a ward here, I have a ward there, so if they're coming up and you say you're even low health, you're going to see them coming around this way if they decide not to go that way.
Ever vigilant.
If you see them coming up around this way and you're running back towards tower, you know, okay, well, I might have to use my flash. The other place that I say is another optional place for over here, and this one again kind of depends on how far you've pushed early game, and depends on, really, I wouldn't put one here because this one's going to get killed often, But if you have a pink ward, this is the spot to put a pink ward. This is going to be another spot to put a pink ward. One of the two. I say mid to late game is going to be where that's going to go, and that'll be in the next video. But pink wards also save a win game, because you can pop pink ward if they have something in there, kill it, and go back to your lane, and that makes it so they don't know what's going on over here anymore.
Stay at the vanguard.
The other place, just to be 100% sure you're not going to get ganked if you're pushing hard, is going to be right here. Having this one right here, if you've pushed pretty hard, makes it so that when you're right here and somebody comes up, you're not going to get ganked from them.
I must not fall.
Alright, so now on to bot lane. Bot lane, I'm actually going to explain all at the same time, because bot lane is 4 wards. And then I'll move on to jungle. And this is where I want you, Red Panda, to follow me around real quick.
First light
Well, this will be in a minute once I move on to jungle. For your bot lane warding, this is my personal belief. I think that the ADC really does not need to spend money on wards. I think the ADC needs to spend money on stuff that they're going to be using for attacking, so that they can push out higher damage later on. I think that the free totem is really the only ward they need to be using. So ADC wise, I think the only ward that they should really ever do is, say y'all are pushed right here midway. I think a ward here is understandable. It's not the best ward, but if you're playing against a Blitzcrank, Thresh, I've seen Ahri support, but an Ahri support, things of that nature, putting that there can save your life. A Leona, boom, I have you if you don't have this warded.
I will protect you.
And if I have you, I can pop my Q, pop my W. You're not going to be able to kill me. My ADC can kill you right off. So right there, or of course right here in this bush, if you're pushed all the way back here, this bush will be again the same reason. The other wards that I believe, and all these wards, or my personal, is the ones that I believe both purple and blue should do. I don't think that either really. I think that stop it.
Always rises.
You literally kill me automatically. Okay, so for support wise, pretty much every time I'm playing support top with purple or blue, the first thing I do is I'm like, okay, well I'm going to ward my jungle. I'm going to ward out. So I put a ward in Tribush. I put a ward right here so that I can see the dragon. And then I go and put a... I don't know why I meant to put a ward. I meant for it to be right here. This way, with all those wards right there, you didn't even do almost any damage to me. With those wards right there, I popped my W. That's why he didn't do much damage. With those wards right there, you're able to see. Tower would have killed you first. I'm a freaking... Anyways, good, because I needed to go back anyways. Hey, let's build it up the next one, just because. Anyways, so now we're going to move on to jungle wards, but I wanted to go ahead and finish to talk about this. So, this tribe ward is going to help the first of all, it's going to help the jungler know if the... see if somebody's coming through here. It's gonna help you see if you're about to get ganked from this direction, because I gank from right there all the time. This bush will help if you're at tower to know if they're in there. Also, it's gonna help the jungler a little bit, so they know if the other junglers come through. And then this one right here will help the most to just jungle in general, because to everybody in general, because you're able to see dragon. You're able to see if if jungler comes from blue buff. You're also able to say if the jungler's coming down. Now the place I say is the best for a support to put a pink ward is gonna be between putting it actually inside Dragon Pit and putting it right there. If you put one right there, then yes, it might be gotten a few times, but it means that you can keep it clear so that your jungler can gank easier. Keeping that bush clear will help ganking become easier. Same thing with top lane. Top lane, if you pop one right there, pop a pink ward, boom. Makes it so that your jungler is not going to be able to be found very easily, and it makes it so it's easier for your jungler to jungle. Now, I should have just put you on the freaking same team as me. Now I want you to come to me. I'm by Wraiths. You just came this way. Okay. So don't attack me. Shoot, get out of your spider form. Okay. So, stop attacking me! Alright, so, jungle ward spots. If you are purple and you are the type of person that, come back, I'm trying to freaking talk. Just don't come close. Alright, that should be fine. If you're jungler and you're on purple side and you're the type that enjoys, not enjoys, but is good at... That was funny. And you are the type of person that you invade other jungle a lot.
Why so tense? Relax.
And you invade their jungle a lot. Or if you're blue, in this case, and you are afraid of being invaded, then these are going to be your ward spots. These are going to be the blue ward spots, and it's exactly the same on purple side, just literally rotated. 180 degrees. Alright, so follow me around. The first ward is going to be right there. One of my friends was telling me about it because he's a really good player. But the reason it's going to be right there is because you can see them coming to your red buff, or you can see the other jungler leaving from over by his red buff. And also it lets you know where the jungler is a little bit easier, because if you have that warded and your support has this tribush warded, then you have full control over where their jungler is. Now, with this, I say, stop it, get away. Okay, with this, I say that putting a ward in this right here as close as you can, because putting it right there is going to make it so you can just barely see the red buff. And even if you want to put it inside the red buff, because again it's an invisible ward, it doesn't matter. Putting it inside the red buff will make it so that you know if they're coming to get your red buff, or if your purple side, if they already came to get your red buff. If your purple side, if the blue side came to get his red buff already. Okay, the last ward that I say, and this is going to be a little bit iffy. It's really a pick and choose ward. If you're one of them that your mid lane uses blue buff quite a bit, I say the next best place is to pop a ward right there at blue buff. That way you know if blue buff has been gotten by purple side or blue buff has been gotten by blue side. This way you know what your buffs are going. With your support, the way that your support warded, your support will you will know if dragon's gotten. The way your top lane's warded, you'll know if they're going towards your blue buff, so you can get to your blue buff first. And then the way your mid laners warding this way pretty much gives you full jungle dominance. And that's, if you have a full jungle dominance and you have a good jungler, it makes it so, and you can see right here, I keep seeing him come back and forth. I know where he's at. Full jungle dominance will make it so that easier to win games. Now, if you're on purple side, if you're on blue side, my suggested thing, even if you are afraid of that you're gonna be counter jungled really a lot, I personally say keep a ward right here. Keep a ward on their red, keep a ward on their blue. Wow, that's funny. Keep a ward on their red, keep a ward on their blue. You have the ability to know where their jungler is. If you know where their jungler is at all times pretty much, you have game control, because it means that their jungler can't gank. Without their jungler ganking, their jungler gets no experience, which means it's a 4v5.
Ever vigilant.
So that is going to be all. I think I've made it I made it just under the time limit that I wanted to make it. But again, remember, don't do things like put a ward. I'm gonna put a ward right here at Baron Pit. Unless you think that they're doing Baron, don't put a ward there. Put your ward right here, so that when you walk away, come down here. Oh, you can see if they're doing Baron. You can also see if they're here, if they're there. This way, you're in control of the game. It's always better for you to be in control of the game than you to be in control. Your team be in control of the game than the other team. Because if the other team ends up being in control of the game, you've lost. So that is all that I got on wards. Thank you for listening to my rants and my raves and my unsa. Yeah, I went there. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you have other ward placements that you like. Ah! Boo. You win this time. Alright, anyways, guys. Remember to, I want to say thanks. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will talk to y'all later.